So pivoting then to the UK and the success of Brexit, or the failure, depending on your perspective, UK Trade Secretary Liz Truss has said that within the first few months of Brexit becoming official, the UK had signed something like €1 trillion worth of trade deals with 67 countries all around the world. That figure has probably grown by now. And, when you look at the media, it's obviously, we only hear the doom and gloom, the apocalyptic scaremongering about how Brexit has been catastrophic for the UK. And so we're hearing something totally different from UK officials. So what I'm wondering is, where is the truth of this matter? Do you think that it's been good for the UK trade-wise, or has it harmed them?
I think in the long run it'll be good for the UK trade-wise. The European Union is the slowest growing area in the world, essentially, economically. And the dire predictions that Britain would be under the floor and massive recession, and Nissan would pull out and everything, haven't proved true. On the other hand, some of the wild kind of expectations of the Brexiteers had not been met. What the British did was, on the trade deals, they did something very simple. They flipped over almost all the trade deals that the European Union had with our country, which people said you couldn't do. I remember people saying it'd take 10 years. Now they've started to negotiate specific trade deals, very different from the European Union, and it's very, very dangerous for Ireland because, I've written about this, that the only reason Ireland joined the European EEC was to safeguard our cattle trade. I mean, it's right in the archives. Ireland had no interest in the European EEC in the 1950s. It was only in 1961, when they discovered Britain had applied. In the words of the Secretary General of the Department of Finance, T.K. Whitaker, it would have been catastrophic for Ireland not to be able to export cattle and food products to the United Kingdom. And that's the reason we applied. And they sat down deliberately and told the government, you have to be pro-European. There wasn't any sort of indigenous or spontaneous outburst of pro-European. It was, we have very little to offer this EEC. They're not particularly care whether we join or not. So the way we go over, we tell everybody in Europe that we're great Europeans. And that got into the DNA, and people seem to be going on about it. But that was the reason we did it. Now, the British have just signed a trade deal with Australia, which is very different than the other trade deal. It will almost certainly bring in Australian beef, and our beef will not compete with South American beef, with New Zealand beef, with Australian beef, and that will be a major blow to rural Ireland. Now, we could have had a much better arrangement with the United Kingdom if we had played footsie with Cameron or with Theresa May. The fact that we wouldn't compromise, or that we compromised far too late and we were so antagonistic, essentially destroyed their credibility within the Tory party. And what happened is, we then get Boris Johnson, who really doesn't care about Ireland, and Liz Truss, who are quite prepared to sign deals that will destroy our beef industry. Remember, half of all the beef raised in Ireland goes to the United Kingdom. It's starting to fall. 280,000 tonnes. We were supplying 70% of all British imports of beef at one stage. And we should have thought of that when we were driving a wedge into the British, when Simon Coveney was telling them that, we are now the stronger partner. You've got to sue for kind of peace with us. I think it was so counterproductive, and it's going to cause huge damage. And I think in retrospect, the activity of the Irish state during Brexit will be regarded as a major own goal historically.